Everyone, this is Ben Anand, and this is Modern DJ Musings video. In today's tutorial, I want to show you how to invite friends to an event, and I'll also go over some of the recent changes on Facebook for targeting options on inviting friends. So this will serve both as a basic tutorial of how to invite friends to a Facebook event, as well as an overview of some of the changes and some ideas for getting around them. So first of all, the basics are you have an event that you're organizing or that you're DJing with or that you're volunteering at or whatever, and you want to be active in the promotion of this event. So in order to invite your friends to the event, you start with the event page. You can see I'm starting here on the Tropical Synergy New Year's Gathering, which is my upcoming event, and you can see who hosts the event right under that. And then you'll also see the share button, which is the way to share the event with friends. Now if I click share, there are multiple options here. I can share it as a post, but I don't generally recommend doing that. I would just make a new post about it rather than start from here. You could do that. I can share in Messenger. I don't generally recommend messaging friends with links because it comes off kind of spammy. I would say if you're going to message friends about an event, my strategy tends to be I'm going to message them first without a link and get their interest, and then if they show interest, then I'll give them the link. But I again find it a little spammy when someone just sends me a link and then the link shows up in a preview and it starts to look kind of like an advertisement. So I don't really use that option. I use the invite friends option in order to invite friends to the event. Go ahead and click on that. And that brings up this screen to invite your friends. And so some things that we can see here is the default view here shows suggested friends. This is Facebook's 250 suggested friends, and I think it's based on your recent interactions with them. It's not a good marker for inviting people to an event in general. The other option you'll notice here is the search box. This is if you want to just try to remember your friend by their name and individually search for people. This is also very inefficient. Unless it just came to your mind to invite one person, that's one thing. But if you're trying to send invites to the max capacity that you can, which is a total of 500, you certainly don't want to search 500 times in this bar. It'll take the better part of your day, I'm sure, to do that. And you're going to want a more efficient way to do that. So let's talk again about that invite limit. Right now, that invite limit is still at 500 total invites. And once upon a time, it was 5,000, the total number of friends you could have on Facebook. And then it got cut to 2,000, and then it got cut to 500. And then after it got cut to 500, beyond that, you can get reduced, what I called Facebook jail. That's when Facebook feels like you're sending out too many invites to events, and then they cap you down even lower at 50 invites. And then even for an event where you've not invited anyone, you'd see 50 invites left in red, and they'd give you warnings about only inviting friends that you think would be interested in the event, and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, so you can get sent to Facebook jail for sending too many invites at a time. I never recommend that you send 200 or 500 invites at one time, as I think you will likely get caught by Facebook's algorithm, and then you'll have a reduced ability to send invites for about a week generally after that, maybe shorter. There are some things you can do to get out, but it's going to be a pain in the butt. Let's just put it that way. So try to stay under your limits. Try to invite 50 friends at a time. You might be able to get away with inviting 50 friends right now and then 50 friends a few minutes later, and then I would leave that alone at least until later in the day. Or generally speaking, like let's say I want to get 500 invites to one event out in 1 week. That's an ambitious goal. Let's try to do that Monday morning, Monday evening, Tuesday morning, Tuesday evening, in groups of 50 till we get the 500, and see if we can stay out of Facebook jail. So I know for some of you, this is beyond what you need. Let's look at the targeting options, because these are really important for everyone trying to send invites. So I could go to all friends, and this is an alphabetical listing of all my friends. Again, this is going to be a time-consuming way of selecting friends for an invite. I could go to close friends, but I don't use this, so I'm not going to do that. What follows here are what's called friends lists, and this is something that Facebook recently has kind of done away with. So what they've done away with is geographically specific lists that we used to be able to create around an area that we lived in to make our lives easier. Facebook is not always about making our lives easier, and they just took away all these targeting options. All these playlists that we created and spent time on have totally disappeared, and I'm left with all these old lists that I created. You can see 2014 is when I was creating these lists several years ago, before those new options appeared. Now they've stripped away the options, deleted the playlists, and I'm left with these old ones which are not that useful. So I'm going to skip on to some of the other headings here. Events I hosted is a very useful column. For example, let's say I wanted to invite people from one of my past events. I throw a lot of events and DJ a lot of events, so the listing's kind of long. Let's just say Tropical 21 Anniversary Eugene. If I wanted to invite people to my current event who RSVP'd to that past event, I select the past event here. Notice that all guests is only people that were all the people that were invited that I'm friends with, which I don't necessarily want. Let's say attended. The reason I like to sort it by attended is these are people who bothered to click the going or maybe the interested, but they clicked something. They RSVP'd to the event, which is good because that means they're likely to RSVP to another event. So this could be an effective way of targeting people. But problem in this case is this event was in Eugene, Oregon, while my New Year's event is in Los Angeles. Not all of you will have these kinds of problems, but for me this is a problem. I don't really want to invite people who came to my Eugene event to my LA event because just honestly the chances of them traveling are pretty low. So really for my New Year's event, I really only want to invite people in Los Angeles because I have so many friends in Los Angeles being from there that it'll be tough for me to pick 500 just that live in Los Angeles. And let's be realistic. The people most likely to go to my New Year's event in Los Angeles are people that live in Los Angeles. Getting people to travel from afar is not very likely, so we don't want to spend a lot of time and energy trying to facilitate that. Yeah, my really close friends that I want to be there, I'll tell in a private message maybe, but generally speaking, I'm not trying to invite friends in Eugene to an event in LA. That's why it sucks that they took away all this geographical targeting, because it was really, really helpful to be able to quickly just invite friends from one area. Anyway, it's gone, and so we have to figure out other ways. One way might be through these events that I've hosted in the past, and then I could find friends that went to events that I hosted, and that might be useful. In this case, it's not that useful because none of the other events I've hosted in the last year have been in Los Angeles. If I wanted to go to that last event I hosted in Los Angeles was over a year ago, it's fallen off my list here of recent events, and I'm not able to access it. So unfortunately, that one that would be useful from the Malibu Mansion Retreat over a year ago, it's not available anymore because it's too old. I wish there were a way we could, do our own customizing of this event invite screen, but that's definitely not an option here on Facebook. Another really good one is events I attended. Events I attended is not ones that I hosted, but ones that I clicked going or possibly interested to myself. And so this is a way of finding some similar events maybe that I could, invite my friends who were going to that event that was in LA. Maybe it wasn't my event, it was a friend's event, but maybe that's a good way of finding people. Now that I don't have my geographical targeting, I have to think about this a little bit different way. So I think events I attended is going to be a little bit more important now. Lastly, there's my groups. Now you could go and take the time of making groups that are invite lists, kind of. Unfortunately, it's very tedious and time consuming, except for the way that we had that got taken away. But manually adding friends to groups, waiting for them to accept the group invite, it's not very efficient either. And so I'm not really going to bother with that too much. But this could be good with existing groups that I already have. Again, you're kind of at the mercy of Facebook about the order. It's something to do with how recently you've accessed the group or posted in the group. I'm in a lot of groups, and I didn't choose to be in all of them, but people added me to them, and sometimes ones that aren't that relevant to me get suggested. So anyway, this does actually have a lot of good options inside of groups as well. I wasn't really using these targeting options much until recently because, again, I had specific Los Angeles friends, San Francisco friends, not these ones I created by hand, but ones which are auto-generated by Facebook based on who currently lived in those cities, and it was super helpful, and it is gone, and I'm crying a little bit inside over it, but we do have to get over it. We have to move on. So in going forward, I think events that you hosted, events that you attended, and groups that you're in are the best ways of finding friends to invite to your event. Without just going through every single friend in alphabetical order. That doesn't tell you, what city they're in, for example. If it said the city after, that would be really helpful, because then I could see Los Angeles. I could say, oh, I'll invite this person. But if it doesn't say it, I don't always remember. I've got 4,900 people here, and I don't always remember where they're living. There's no listing here. So again, it's a little bit of a crapshoot right now on Facebook with the removal of certain targeting options, but these are the basics on how to invite friends to an event and how to use some of the targeting options that we still have here in order to invite friends effectively to an event, because we don't want to just invite people who aren't going to come to an event, and that's what Facebook is supposedly trying to cut down on when they make changes, but they don't always work actually in ways that are favorable, as we know. So c'est la vie. This is Modern DJ Musings, and I hope you got something good out of this tutorial video. Please follow my channel and subscribe to it. That'll really help me out as I push towards 100 subscribers here, where I get a custom URL and some other fun features on YouTube. Also, I encourage you to check the description for links to my Modern DJ Musings blogs online and other places. Thank you so much for watching this video. Your comments are always appreciated, and please tune in to the next Modern DJ Musings next week.